Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another version of the Fertle Melon, my video blog. Let's see, what do I want to groove on today? Oh yeah, the President of the United States. Way over his head. He's proving it every day. Now he's gotten out of town because the heat's heating up a little bit in there, and politicians of both parties just going nuts. I talked about the AIG mess yesterday. It's even worse today. They had the CEO up there. The poor guy's only been in there since December, who, after they fired the last board of directors when we bought 80% of the company. We, meaning the taxpayers. When we bought 80% of the company, we fired the board of directors, the CEO. We got rid of him, which we should have done because obviously they needed us. So yes, that was a good move. Had to happen. Okay, anyways, we brought this guy in. He agreed to work for $1. He's grossly underpaid for the crap he took today. These politicians grandstanding and just making total asses of themselves. Questioning him was just dumb. They knew about these bonuses a year ago. These things weren't a secret. The secret is they're trying to now. They want to cover a little bit for Tim Geithner, the Treasury Secretary. You know, that guy that's the head of the IRS. You know, the one that didn't pay his taxes for quite a few years this decade. Yeah, that guy. He was the head of the New York Federal Bank prior to becoming Treasury Secretary. He helped negotiate these contracts. He knows about them. He knew about them. They claim he only knew about them last Tuesday. That's crap. He knew about them for far longer, and he just is not politically tone dead and didn't realize what a storm this would cause, and it might end up causing his head. Unless Obama's willing to go to the mattresses for him, which I don't think Obama's willing to do. I think Obama will sooner or later hang him out to dry because he just doesn't need the distraction. Anyways, this is about Obama. Guess what? You 95% of you people who think you're not getting a tax increase, guess what? Obama can look at you with a straight face and say, I'm not raising your taxes. Of course, your cost of living is going to go up so much, I increased your taxes by a ton. But if you're not politically astute enough to see this coming, you won't know it. Cap and trade has this new environmental program to protect us against global warming, which I think is a joke. I don't think global warming is happening. I don't think it ever has. And I think this is silly. But guess what? It's going to happen. And guess what? The cost of everything we have is going to go up because the cost of generating electricity and power and energy is going to go up. And that affects everything. From your Twinkies at the store, from your beer at 7-Eleven, to your gas. That's the kind that goes in your car, to your natural gas, the kind that heats your house, to your electricity that, gives you the juice in your house and allows you to be, on YouTube right now looking at my, ridiculous butt. Anyways, he's going to do it. He's going to do it because he needs the money. He can't fund all these beautiful programs he's trying to ram down our throat. Don't let a crisis go to waste, said his chief of staff a couple months ago. And he's using this financial crisis to get through all his pet liberal projects that he really didn't have the guts to tell you about in the campaign. Or if he did mention them, the press made sure they didn't mention him because they wanted him elected. And if you'd have known what kind of leftist radical you were actually voting in, some of you were voting in because I didn't vote for him. You might not have voted for him. He might not be president of the United States right now. Of course, even if you'd have known about it, the Republicans still would have needed to put up a little better candidate to John McCain. But if you'd have known about what he was getting ready to do, I think John McCain would have squeaked out a victory over him. You just never know. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what? All these things, while he can look at you in the eye and say they're not tax increases, if they make your life far more expensive than it was the day he was put into office, guess what? He raised your taxes. He's just not calling them tax increases, so with a straight face you can say 95% are not going to see any tax increases. He's giving you that piddly little $13 a week, supposedly, whatever that little tax cut is, that really adds up to nothing, because $13 and one sum isn't much. You might buy pizza that night instead of making, instead of your wife making, heating up the leftovers that you've been eating for 2 days. So, giving you that $13, but he's going to cost you probably hundreds of dollars more per month in your budget when all's said and done. Mark my words, it's going to happen. He can't afford these programs. He could confiscate all the wealth of that 5% he calls, that made it, that was so over the top that got so many benefits that you're expense, which is another topic that would take all my time, because these beautiful YouTube videos have to be under 10 minutes, and I could go on for that for a half hour. So we'll save that for another day. But that 5%, that that rich that made it on your back, that got rich while you were getting poor, which is impossible. Anyways, that rich, you could confiscate every penny they have and every piece of property they have and every dime they are worth, let alone have in the bank, and you still couldn't afford Obama's programs. You can't. So guess what? He's got to come to the 95%, because that's where all the money is. That's where all the money is, ladies and gentlemen. Like it or not, the middle class is where the money's at, not the rich. We like to focus on the rich because here's a distraction. Look at my right hand. Look at my right hand. Why my left hand slapping you upside the back of the head? That's how Obama works. That's how most liberals work, and that's how this is going to work. You're not going to see it coming until it's too damn late, and there'll be nothing you can do about it. Your stimulus job won't pay for what's going to happen. Of course, there won't be any stimulus jobs because that stimulus bill was a joke, which is why they're now talking about stimulus 2, which is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, it's going to happen because they know in order to get reelected and keep the Democrat Congress, they are going to have a stimulus 2 that actually, I don't know, might stimulate the economy, because that first one wasn't designed to do that. That was designed to get all kinds of nice little liberal pet projects that have been sitting in desks for years, knowing George Bush wouldn't sign them, into effect, knowing they couldn't get them through those projects, those liberal programs they wanted to do, they couldn't get through a Republican Congress from 1994, so Bill Clinton didn't have a chance to sign them, and George Bush wouldn't sign them as President of the United States. Well, guess what? They finally had one of their own ilk in office, and they, boom, oh my God, Obama will sign them, and they pulled them out, and they stuffed them in a bill they called stimulus to try to put you back to work, and it was all a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming. You're going to get nailed. You're going to get it. Mark my words. He can't do what he wants to do unless he comes and grabs your money. Of course, he's not going to tell you up front it's your taxes. And guess what? Eventually, he might even get bold enough to say, you know what? I've tried everything I could do. I taxed that 5%. I got him. I nailed him. I took everything they had. And it wasn't enough. So, with a heavy heart, I have to raise your taxes. I'm sorry. I don't want to do it, but I got to do it. Of course, that was the plan all along by the people who have programmed this man, because he is definitely a programmed entity. They plucked this man out of obscurity in Illinois, and they groomed him and groomed him and groomed him, and now he's president. I don't know who that they are, but I guarantee you there is a they. They accused George Bush of that. Daddy's friends put him in office. Well, George Bush actually got elected in the state of Texas and actually ran it and had a record. Obama had nothing. He has been created out of nothingness. And these people have radical leftist ideas, and they finally found their vessel that could get in front of a camera and make it sound normal and make it sound believable, and 54% of the country fell for it. Scary. Very, very scary. Well, that's about all for the Fertle Melon now, except for if you've noticed my sweatshirt. It says the greatest university in the world, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They'll be on Friday, and I'm not going to miss that. And this is my news bit, but I'm going to start doing some sports bits. Some of my Buckeyes kick Sienna's butt on Friday. I'll be back on to talk about my Buckeye win and getting ready for the Louisville Cardinals, who, you got to play us in Dayton. We got a shot. Got a shot. And if we get beat, so what? We've got nothing but freshmen and sophomores, and we're going to be a really killer team. But diving into sports, I probably shouldn't be. Oh, by the way, 2 new songs by Keith Urban on my Facebook page. Keith Urban kicks butt. He's my new favorite. Check him out. Check out my blog. Check out everything. The Fertle Melon's going nowhere. Even when I go to Kuwait in May, the Fertle Melon will be here. Hopefully, I will have the internet capabilities of being able to post my news and post my views. And if the 2 or 3 people out there on the web that look at them, I hope you love them. And if we can maybe multiply that to 6 next year, double my audience, that would be great. Don't count on it, because I'm a moron and I'm doing this just really for my own entertainment, because I bought a webcam and I want to play with it. That's really what it comes down to. I will see you later, and please keep coming to the Melon, and I appreciate you.